and welcome to the third episode of Just Off Markham. I'm your host, Jason Patterson, and I'm going to tell you, it was a great weekend to be a Razorback fan. Incredible atmosphere this weekend. There were some traffic issues, but again, the university will get that worked out, I'm sure. It was an opening weekend for everybody. I was invited to an incredible tailgate this weekend with Razor Effects. Couldn't say more enough great things about them. Excellent food with Coy Southern Eats, and it was just a really great atmosphere. You could feel the buzz; it was almost palpable with the amount of anticipation that the fans brought to the game. It was the seventh largest crowd for the Razorbacks. And attendance-wise, there were 74,751. As the Razorbacks, number 19th in the country, took down the 23rd ranked Cincinnati Bearcats 31-24. That was the first season opening win versus a ranked opponent for the Razorbacks since 1975, after they defeated the University of Southern California 22-7. And they were ranked fifth in the country when that happened. But we'll see the the newest rankings come out probably either this afternoon or tomorrow after Clemson plays tonight. It'll probably be tomorrow when they come out. But then after that, you'll start seeing those mid-Sunday morning starting next week. The Razorback offense did look a little shaky at first. You have to attribute that to being first game of the season. Also, you look at, there were some throws that KJ did miss. He did skip a couple. But again, that's also, getting those first game jitters out of the way. No matter how much these guys have played together, maybe last year, carrying over into this season, live bullets always are different than what you're seeing in preseason camp. And the Razorbacks were able to get past a very, very, very good Cincinnati team. I know that there were some issues with the Bearcats keeping their helmets on. I thought that was quite a huge issue for their equipment staff, because they just couldn't seem to keep it on. But did have some delays there in the game. But I think the Arkansas really did a great job handling their business. They understood the expectations. They also made sure that they went out and executed their game plan to the best of their abilities. They didn't make a lot of mental mistakes. There were some penalties. You're going to see that in the first game. I know that Coach Pittman had talked about penalties being a little bit of a bugaboo during fall camp, and you'll start to see those kind of diminish as the season goes along, because that's what happened last year. They were able to address some things and make sure that that's going to be taken care of moving into South Carolina coming on this Saturday. So let's look at the stats really quick. KJ was 18 of 26 for 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Rock Sanders, he had 20 carries with 122 yards. His long was 37 yards. He didn't gain a touchdown, though. KJ was 18 carries for 87 yards and a score. AJ Green got some time in. He had 3 rushes. So Rashad Dubinion had 2 rushes. Malik had 1, and then Jaden Hazelwood had 1 also. And that one with Malik was actually a designed pass, a double pass to him on the outside, and it didn't quite work out. And so he was able to scramble and gain 13 yards and pick up that first down. So Cincinnati kind of thought they had him dead to rights, and he was able to slip out of there really quick and use his ability to use that speed on the corner, and they weren't able to catch him. Ben Bryant for Cincinnati had a pretty decent game. He was 25 of 42 for 314 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and had that 1 interception where Dwight McLaughlin stopped a great drive there in the first quarter, and you thought that Cincinnati was going to go down and take a lead or get a score out of that drive, and defense. He said he saw that in film study. He jumped on that route, and almost took it to the house. If he hadn't stumbled there in Arkansas territory, he would have taken it to the house. But um, Arkansas did not allow a 100-yard rusher. Now, for the team, they did have 146 yards with a touchdown, but their lead rusher was Corey Kiner, 12 attempts with 60 yards and a score. The Cincinnati defense, I know that they had lost their two corners from last year, and they lost Desmond Ridder, and we know that they've all moved on to the NFL, but that defense was pretty intact, and we knew that Arkansas was going to have a problem possibly, and we were with that defense. We wanted to see how they would react. I felt like the defense did the best they could, but the Razorback offense was lights out after that first quarter. They got the nervous jitters out of the way. I feel like they really settled into the offense and the rhythm, and you started to see more cohesiveness in the second half also. KJ lit them up with the blitz, and that's one of the things that Cincinnati was trying to get after, is they were wanting to blitz, and the Razorbacks did too. And we saw a lot more blitzing from the Razorback defense on Saturday than we had all of last year, which was a breath of fresh air. But going back to what KJ did against that defense that was so stellar last year for Cincinnati, their defense had only given up 3 passing touchdowns against the blitz all of last year, all of 2021. This was KJ's line against that blitz on Saturday. He was 8 of 9 for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you don't tell me that is not Heisman material, I will tell you were wrong. Because that is Heisman material, because he is looking at the teeth of the defense. He has got somebody coming at his face, his knees, his feet, somewhere, and he is delivering accurately with authority. And that's evident right there. So, it was really a great job by Coach Briles. He was able to kind of make some adjustments on the fly, because Cincinnati was really giving him some fits the first couple of series. And the defense made some great adjustments. Now, we're going to have to see what happens with Jalen Catalon with that shoulder. I haven't heard anything yet. Looks like Miles Slusher had a concussion that was reported after the game. And Coach Pittman said in the press conference that he thinks that he should be good to go, hopefully by Saturday against South Carolina. We'll have to see what happens with Cat and his shoulder, though. And we saw McGlothern get beat. We saw Simeon Blair. Brini was getting beat a little bit. Those are some of the teachable moments that you're going to see get shored up by Coach Odom and Coach Bowman going in from game 1 to game 2. I think that's where you're going to see a huge difference. I know that fans were really wreaking all sorts of havoc on that defense, on what they were doing and actually what they weren't doing. We did see quite a few guys get behind containment that were wide open. And those will be some of the things that we will definitely see. I was talking with a friend of mine during the game, and they were making those decisions on what to change schematically during the game without their 2 top safeties. And you put all of that together, and that's the product that you get. But you know what? It was a bend but don't break product that helped secure a Razorback win. And I know that Cincinnati was going to get theirs. They're a great team. Coach Pittman even said that he was really glad that this was only a one-time thing, because they were a great team. They're well coached by Coach Fickle. They did have some problems also with penalties, as did the Razorbacks. And I think that you'll have to really give that defense a little bit of a mulligan on this one, and I think they're going to come back. So another storyline during the game was Mason and Max Fletcher, brothers from Australia. They got to see their parents first time in a couple years. Their family had traveled from Australia here. Max He did pretty decent. He was had 6 punts, 38.5 yard average. He did put one at the 14-yard line whenever Arkansas was definitely trying to pin him deep. They had a long of 50. And his brother Mason had 4 punts for an average of 46.3 yards and a long of 54, and had two inside the 20. And it was just a really cool feel-good story that you had going into that game. That SEC Nation really highlighted a little bit, and I thought that they were great. John Daly was on set this weekend, and I think that everybody was really hyped up for the first weekend of football. You had Marty and McGee. You had SEC Nation on set with all those folks, Paul Feinbaum and Jordan Rogers, Roman Harper, Tim Tebow, and Laura Rutledge. And it was great to see everybody there. Got to get on set a little bit, and I'll post some video and some pictures that I was able to capture. I got a couple of good, some interviews, pool interviews that we did on Friday, and I'll get those posted as well, so everybody can kind of take a look at that and kind of see what what the whole deal was about that. So let's go into the Razorbacks over the weekend. Let me pull this up here. So the volleyball team went to Colorado, played in the Colorado State. There was a Colorado State tournament there in Fort Collins, and the Razorbacks went 3-0. And that's a really big deal because they split against Washington, which is a great team in itself. But Arkansas did something that really signifies that the program is really turning in the right direction. They had a sweep. They did not lose a set in their three sweeps. They went 9-0, of course, naturally, but as far as the numbers there go, but they swept Colorado State, Alabama State, and Florida Gulf Coast. And like I said, they didn't drop a set in the three games to manage a clean sweep there in their first road test of the season. The ladies come home for the Razorback Invitational next weekend, and they'll host Colorado, University of Arkansas Little Rock, and Florida International. The ladies do have a doubleheader on Friday when they'll take on Little Rock at 10 a.m. and then Florida International at 7 p.m. At Barnhill Arena on Friday night. And then they'll match up with Colorado on Sunday at 1 p.m. again in Barnhill Arena. So go out there. Tickets are $5 a piece. It's great action. It's great time. A lot of energy. You got the Razorback band there. Great student section. Get out there and support your Lady Razorback volleyball team. The women's soccer team eked out a victory against Michigan State yesterday, Sunday, 1-0. Lone goal was scored in the 77th minute by B. Franklin, and Ava Tankersley was credited with the assist. Now, the Spartans did come into the game unbeaten and fall to 4-1 on the season. And Coach Hill was talking about how great of a team, how solid Michigan State was and Arkansas had a lot of moxie and used a lot of grit to grind out the goal there in the 77th minute. And the ladies improved to 4-1 in the season after that lone loss that they got in the season opener against St. Louis. But the ladies do travel this Thursday to Provo, Utah, and take on BYU, and you can watch that on BYU TV. The lady volleyball team, you can watch that on SEC